Welcome to Getting to Know You. I'm your host, Eman Tuzman-Eagan, and I'm happy to welcome you to this podcast where we get to know members of the Berkshire Hills Music Academy community better. Our guest for today in this episode is Colleen, joining us from Berkshire Hills. Welcome to Getting to Know You, Colleen. I'm so glad to have the chance to interview you today.
Thank you for having me, Eman.
First question, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Massachusetts, in Bolton, Massachusetts, and before that, I lived in New York for a little while.
Where in New York?
Well, I was born in Sleepy Hollow, which is known for where the Headless Horseman runs around. But then I was in Scarsdale for a little bit, then Pennsylvania, and then I moved here.
Interesting. What parts of Pennsylvania? Can you tell the listeners?
Yes, I grew up in Matamoros, Pennsylvania.
I have never heard of that. Can you elaborate more on the Sleepy Hollow? And have you ever seen the movie?
Unfortunately, I'm very scared of scary movies, so I've not watched it. But I didn't know that there was a story behind it. I was just born. It was the closest hospital to where my mom was living. And then I heard about this, and I was like, oh, no, I was born in a haunted hospital. But to be honest, that's kind of cool to me now, and I feel like I have fun ghost stories to tell, too. So
Where are you going to college, and what are you majoring in?
I go to college at Mount Holyoke College, which is right down the road. I'm a junior there, and I'm a music major, and I'm doing the teacher licensure track. So by the end, I'm hoping to have my license in education.
Tell us more about the teacher licensing thing.
So for teacher licensure, I take a lot of psychology classes, and eventually I'm going to start going into classrooms and watching teachers teach, and then I will start teaching by myself, and then from there I think I get my license. So I'm very excited.
Do you play in any bands outside of BHMA?
Not in any bands, although I wish. That'd be so cool. I'm in 2 choirs at my school. I'm in a glee club and a chamber choir. So we sing, but not super like poppy songs. We sing more like traditional choir music, but that's a lot of fun. I really like everyone in choir.
I hear you play guitar. Is this true? What guitar do you play, electric or acoustic?
I do play the guitar. I play the acoustic guitar. I'm sure I could like learn to play the electric guitar. I just never have before. But yeah, I really like to do that. I just do mostly chords and a little bit of finger picking and tab reading.
Do you have a favorite guitar player?
That's a good question. I don't know if I do have one on like the top of my head. I mean, like one of the first tabs I learned on guitar was Blackbird from the Beatles. Like that's just a classic. So maybe yeah, John Lennon, Paul McCartney. They're really good guitarists.
How many instruments do you play in total?
Well, I play the guitar. I play a little bit of piano and I sing. So I'd say 2 to 3 depending on if you count the voice as an instrument.
Do you have a favorite piano player?
I was just talking to someone about this. I've been listening to a lot of Ben Folds recently, and I think he'd be my favorite piano player.
I know this might be a hard question to answer, but do you have a favorite singer?
That is a hard question. I have a lot of different like style depending on the style of music. I have different favorite singers, but like Fiona Apple's a good one that like I listen to a lot of her music all the time. So maybe her.
That's a good choice. How long have you been working at BHMA?
I just started 3 weeks ago. So I think this is my 4th week here. So I'm very new, but everyone's been very welcoming and I'm having a great time so far.
How did you get involved in BHMA?
Well, this summer I was working at an extended school year program, and one of the students in the program was telling me about this school and how he wanted to go here when he was a little bit older because he's a drummer. And I didn't realize that this school was literally 2 minutes down the road from Mount Holyoke. So then once I saw that, then I reached out and just said like if they needed an intern or volunteer or anything like that. And then they said they had a job opening. So that was very exciting.
You probably don't want to reveal the person who it is, right?
I guess, yeah, we'll keep him anonymous just in case.
I probably don't know who he is. He wanted to go here?
He did.
Does he go here?
Not yet.
Okay.
No, he's still in high school. But when he's a little bit older, he'll come here.
Okay. And you know him?
Yeah.
Do you have any pets? What are their names?
I have 3 pets, not at college with me, unfortunately, but I have 2 cats. I have a cat named Cookie and a cat named Suki. And then I have a dog named Buddy.
What kind of cats are they? What style?
Cookie is a tortoiseshell cat, so she's like marbled. She's like brown and black, and she's very pretty looking. And then Suki's a black cat. And then Buddy is just kind of a mutt. He's got all the different, every breed you could think of he has in him.
Yeah, that was my next question. What breed of dog is it? But you've already answered that. I love dogs.
Me too. They're great.
My favorite is a husky.
They're cute, yeah.
If you had a superpower, what would it be and why?
Huh. Maybe like teleportation, because sometimes I just want to like get to a place with the snap of my finger. I feel like that'd be good.
Yeah, a lot of people answered that. I'd probably say flying, because I love to fly. But everybody I've interviewed has a fear of flying. So I love to fly. What is your favorite style of music to play?
Probably. Oh, I don't know. I really like to sing like indie songs. I feel like that fits my voice pretty well. But I really like jazz. That's really fun to sing. Sometimes pop, like not a ton of pop, but certain pop songs I really enjoy singing.
Tell me about a time you were nervous for a performance.
Almost every time I perform, I think it's easier in like choir because it's all of us together, so it's less like nerve wracking. But like last year, I was in an opera at school, and that was terrifying because I had a solo and it was very scary. But it was sort of the kind of scary where you're just like, well, I have to do this. There's nothing else I can do, so I just went on stage, and it ended up being a lot of fun.
Just out of curiosity, what was the name of the opera?
It was an opera that one of our professors had written. It was called Fun Malayo, and it was about the woman who she started an uprising against the king in, I want to say this was in Nigeria. Yeah. So there was a king who was raising taxes and telling the market women they couldn't sell their goods anymore. So Fun Malayo had held an uprising, and it was a cool play.
I sang an opera. I did opera here. I've done a couple actually. I've done Ave Maria.
Oh, nice.
Once, and Don Giovanni once. Yes. If you could play with any musician, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Oh, this is the hard question that you tell everyone is a hard question. You know, I follow Jacob Collier on Instagram, and the shows he does in like these big churches, and he has the audience be a choir and stuff like that. I would love to be a part of that. I think that'd be super cool.
Yeah, I've heard of his music. Can you tell the listeners a little bit who don't know who he is about who he is and what kind of music he does?
Of course. Jacob Collier is a pretty young musician. He's known for understanding like complex harmonies, and his main thing right now, on at least on Instagram and stuff, is that when he performs, he makes the audience into a choir. So he will just like kind of point at a section of the audience and point up or down, and they'll start singing up or down. But he's really, really talented and interesting, and his music is super fun to listen to if you ever get the chance. I highly recommend.
Nice. What do you like to do in your spare time?
In my spare time, I crochet. That's really fun. I just crocheted a little pumpkin. That was really cute. I play the guitar and piano in my free time. What else do I do? Oh, I paint by numbers. I got a paint by numbers kit, so I've been doing that a lot recently.
Tell the listeners what paint by numbers is, because I myself love to paint, but don't have the foggiest idea what you're talking about. So explain to the listeners and use big words if possible.
I will. So paint by numbers are like these kits that you can get at I got mine at Michael's, and it's just like a big it's like a canvas type paper, and it's a pre-made painting. So like one I just did was Van Gogh's Sunflowers. Have you seen that painting before? Yeah. So what they do though is they just make a bunch of like shapes, just like outlines with different numbers in them. And so if the outline says 1, you go to a little paint pot that says number 1 on it, and you just color it in. So it's kind of like a coloring sheet almost, where it's just like the outlines, and you have to match the paint to the numbers, and then you end up making a really cool painting.
Do you have a favorite class at BHMA and why? I should say favorite class to teach and why.
Well, the only thing I teach here are voice lessons, but I'm having a lot of fun with that so far. I'm taking voice lessons myself at school, so I feel like I'm learning a lot while I'm teaching a lot, and it's a really fun mix.
And you work on the podcast. What do you think of that?
I love working with you. It's so much fun. And yeah, I mean, last week we did our first interview. I think it went really well. We're about to upload that to YouTube today. And yeah, I have a lot of fun.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to today's episode of Getting to Know You. I'd like to thank Colleen for taking the time to talk with us. Our theme song is Getting to Know You by Rogers and Hammerstein, performed by BHMA Community member Franklin Nichols. Editing is done by Jake Goldstein. Creative direction is done by me, ETE, and creative support by my mom. We hope you enjoyed the show. Enjoy the day. Bye-bye now.